Hi everyone, I'm Yildiz from Yildiz Readings 5-Day. We're going to cover your astro forecast, covering all your romance, your career, you name it, we're covering it. Now, we did have an action-packed October, and we did have the full moon in Taurus on October the 31st. Now, I'll be covering each of these within each of your zodiac signs. Please look at your sun, moon, and rising. And if you do want to book a reading, you can go to the link directly below. We're also going to be doing additional reads during the month, and connected in with this, I'm going to be giving you chakra updates and more. Now, we do have this month Jupiter conjunct Pluto, and it's really amping off moving to December. So what I'm preparing to do for you guys is trying to get everything as organized as possible so you guys know what's coming up in your chakras, what's coming up in your charts, so you're well and truly prepared for each transit. Now, we are having Mercury in Scorpio going direct on the 3rd of November, and I think most of us will be relieved by that factor. We're also having Mars and Aries direct on the 14th of November, and then we're going to be having Neptune in Pisces direct on the 29th. So yet again, we will be glad that those planets are going direct. It's not to say we're out of the woods, but most of what's really coming up is very much connected to our health with the Taurus full moon that we had on the 31st, which again, I'll still be making references to it because it's still through the month will be resonating and connecting with your charts. And then we're going to be having a new moon in Scorpio at 23 degrees, which is the critical degrees, and it's on the 15th. But yet again, I will connect them with that. And then last but least, before we get into your actual chart, zodiac by zodiac, we have the full moon in Gemini at 9 degrees on the 30th of November, which is a lunar eclipse. And it is connected to the nodes. So we do currently have the North node in Gemini and the South node in Sagittarius. Now, for each of you, that nodal effect will take on a very different vibration. We're moving towards the energy of Gemini, which is a transformative period, which is connected to 2.5 years. So there are themes that are going to be coming up, and definitely it will be quite pivotal connected to this lunar eclipse in Gemini. Now, it can link back to May when the nodes did shift, where we did have a new moon at 2 degrees on the 22nd of May. So again, we will look at those energies and we'll tap into your charts and tell you how it goes. For those of you that you do want a reading, you can go, as I mentioned, to the link below. Now, let's get into your messages. Hi, beautiful Leos. Let's look at what's coming up for you in the month of November. Now, this report is very comprehensive. If you do wish to skip ahead, you can. But in this report, what I do have is the thumbnails directly connected to it. So instead of needing to timestamp it, you have the ability to move back and forward. But the interesting thing is, although most of us do look at love, this month I am going to be going live to do my live psychic channeled messages, as well as I'll use the divination tools as I always do, but I will be coming to you live. So if you haven't subbed, click the bell and you'll get a notification of when that's coming. Yes, in this report there will be linkages linked to love, but the other aspects can directly impact that as well, and that's why in this comprehensive report I have connected and crossed all the areas that can be really important. Now, the 31st of October, I'm making mention inside of the November video. Why? Because we had the full moon in Taurus, October the 31st, which is when I'm releasing these videos. Taurus, the moon, is going to be affecting us for potentially 1 to 2 weeks into the month of November. We're also going to be having a new moon in Scorpio at 23 degrees on the 15th of November, which I will mention after I have a quick chat to you about these areas. Now, Uranus and Taurus is making a conjunction point to the Taurus moon. It is in retrograde until the 15th of December. So at the moment, with that frequency, there can be subjects to your 10th house. Now, your 10th house can relate to your career, your reputation, your fame. It also can link to other parent, but more so with the Taurus energy, it's very Venus an element. Full moon meaning tying up and something coming to a head that is going to ultimately be required. Now, it can be that you're actually working towards those goals and there's other subjects going on that you're having to catch up. This can also be so you can generate incomes and looking at different ways you can do things. There can also be some luxuries that potentially you had been wanting, that you'd been purchasing for this area. And also there can be limiting beliefs surrounding this situation because of what's going on in the collective, but we'll tune further into it as we move through the chart into the different sections. I am also going to be talking about, after I speak about the new moon in Scorpio, I'm also going to be speaking about the transit very briefly and then into the different areas of life. Now for you guys, the new moon in Scorpio, as I mentioned, is going to be at 23 degrees. Now we deem the 23 degree point as the critical degree. No turning back, got to go forward. It sort of does make sense due to the fact that we have had Mercury in retrograde in this zodiac sign. We also have the sun on the first day of the month in Scorpio. These subjects that are playing out can be at times you find that the innate element and disposition that can come through with the Scorpionic element is very much our perspective to do with something. We feel something's hidden. It can cause paranoia, or it can cause us to be a little bit more secretive, a little bit more research orientated. Let me dig deeper. Let me understand. It's also very similar to the 8th house placement and Mars orientated energy, where in traditional astrology, it's birth, deaths, endings. How do I pull things in? What do I do? Now, Scorpio does link to your 4th house, which is home. So again, the axis of career could be occurring from home, or there could be very separately home-related dynamics or plans that you're making in these areas, belief systems, conditioning. The 4th house is a unique place of learning. I've had that, so I'm going to share my experience, but interpret it. 4th house can connect to your psychological foundation, domestic issues, relations and situations, endings, parent and home. Very moon almost orientated energy as well. Emotions, our safety, our nurturing. Again, with this 4th house placement, and by the time we do have the new moon in Scorpio, large subjects this month are going to come up pertaining to home, environment, and transformations in that area. Also linking in with your career, moving into the month, finances, earth, being able to provide for yourself, what you're going to do with those things, where home feels. You could even be beautifying your home, getting things prepared for your career if you're currently working from home, but I'll connect the dots moving forward. On the first day of the month, we are having the sun in Scorpio making a conjunction to Uranus and Taurus, and it's also making a conjunction point the day before directly to the full moon in Taurus. So most of this energy moving into the new moon in Scorpio will be a bit challenging until Mercury goes direct. That's occurring on the 3rd. This push-pull and integration of it, everything you've reflected upon, felt, thought, when it does link to home, nurturing, can even be family. What do we deem as family? What does that mean? How does that feel, to us? And with the axis of Mars and Aries, while it's retrograde, it's hitting your 9th house placement. So there's benefits to looking at where that nodal energy is. And the reason I say that is because we've had Mars retrograde, goes direct on the 14th. We also have Aries and Chiron retrograde until December the 15th, the wounded healer. It is going to be in the zodiac sign Aries for 7 years. So an important area to look at over the next 7 years would be the Mars energy. As it goes direct, you'll feel more in alignment. It will be highlighted in different karmic lessons coming up so you can defuse the wound. And it'll hit in many ways. It can be connected to something at a distance. It can be cultural related, again, religion, belief systems. Let's get into the grid of it. So it's religion, education, foreign countries, travel and purpose. And to balance it, it really is linking to communication, which karmically speaking, and funny enough, the nodes are actually in a similar placement. Communication, yes, will be the key. Also dealing with things and looking at them from a different perspective. So although Sagittarius is in your 5th house, it can also directly link to the 9th house placement of foreign countries. We'll get further into it anyway. Let's get into the transit by transit, and then we'll quickly move into your chakras to keep you balanced, and then house by house. Okay, so don't stress. I've mentioned the moons. I haven't gone into great detail. It might feel like a lot, but I'm going to pull it in. First week of this month can be very testing. I'll be completely honest with you. There are subjects in your chart linking to your home and your health, linking to how you're showing up, what you're needing to change, dealing with fame, dealing with people's perspectives of you. There can be diet-related subjects this month that can come up, and self-esteem. There can also be your viewpoints and perspective, and maybe doing too much, maybe having dramas at home and needing to deal with those things. Some of us are in partnerships, some of us are single parents, home-related, the psychology of dealing with those things. Dealing with home-based businesses, for instance, and again, I will mention that further into the track. There are opportunities here, and it's really calling you with the Mercury in Scorpio energy to focus on home and what you would need to do to move forward, that then would assist in you being able to be carrying those burdens, able to pull things in and help them grow. What are those things that need to be done? Is it that you're doing it all alone, or is it that there are other people but they're not pulling their weight? Things to that degree. Pluto requests you in the bigger midst of things to transform those things. Now, with conjunction points, you do have Jupiter in Capricorn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. You're going to have an inkling, and there's going to be something shown to you what way you need to go. And it is to grow. It's both to grow at a financial, spiritual, and physical level. To be able to achieve and deal with some of these adversities. Now, on the 9th, it can be very testing, and that's because we do have Venus in Libra in opposition to Mars in Aries, linking to your wounds, linking to your energy. It could be taking a lot of energy. It might be talking to people on social media. It might be belief systems and differing views and how that makes you feel when that occurs. The uncomfortableness of it, and the throat chakra linking to Venus and Libra. Third house placement, self-esteem versus belief systems, religion and conditioning. So try not take that day too personal, especially collectively. A lot of us are experiencing that. We have elections going on in the collective. Mars retrograde at the end of it can get very, very aggressive. So, keeping that in mind and being aware that Aries and Chiron is the wounded healer, and we are having those dynamics going on in the collective, especially with Neptune and Pisces retrograde, you find cognitive energies can be up and down. People's perspectives and perceptions can be different. They can be tapping out, so to speak, and finding vices with the wounds to handle those emotions. So it's really nurturing ourselves, being that this is a number 11 month, and what we're going to do to try and get ourselves as grounded as possible. Any of the things that you're wanting to build, I do coaching, I do cross-referencing of charts. I can look at different areas for you. I can give you my psychic download. So if you do feel you're really stuck, which this month can be very trigger worthy, it's going to be testing. It's almost like the car's broken down, we've changed the tyre during Mars retrograde. Goes direct the 14th, we automatically, in an ego sense, hope that everything's going to be great. But because we'll still be in the shadow frequency, by the time we reach the third week, you should find that things are flowing throughout the month. It's just testing energies with the squaring aspects. It's conjunction points, drawing highlight to areas that need transforming and shaking up, and definitely to do with health, work ethic, what you're doing. It can even be schooling as well with the nodes in Gemini. That can be coming up towards the end of the month, and I really feel you guys to be pulling things in to get to the point you can deal with some of these areas. Now, as Mars goes direct, you will feel more energetic. It's not going to happen right away due to the fact that Aries and Chiron is retrograde, and it does link to fatigue energy. When you do have trigger points, being partial always, we try to be partial, but it can be causing some issue where potentially self-esteem based, it can be triggering you and making you feel left and right. Now, on the 15th, as I mentioned, we are having the new moon in Scorpio at 23 degrees. So tying up these loose end situational ships at home is going to benefit you moving forward. It can be getting bills in order, getting the cleaning, getting the house organised. You may feel that your routine is that busy, you need to shift things about. Many times I find spiritually that when we are moving furniture around a house a lot, it can show that we're directly unsettled within the environment. Now, you can use smudge sticks and tools to clear the energy, but at the same time, sometimes you've directly outgrown the home. So really, if you had wanted to move, it might have been a lot of pressure. Do I stay? Do I go? What do I do? This can be coming through in the future as well. And if you have been planning, if you have just moved, it's, dealing with those arduous energies through Mercury retrograde. Could be missing documents, trying to tie up loose ends, getting the insurances in order. The frustrations there will plateau out, but in the initial stages, it can be very testing. So if it's coming up where you're thinking, do I stay, do I go? I do feel by the time you reach Venus in Scorpio, again, you can be looking at maybe beautifying the home. You can be looking at transforming it in some shape or form, decorating, but also security can be coming up for home as well. You're really going to be looking by the third week of security, both within yourself, your connections, and your home environment. You're trying to secure things and keep all of the people that you love safe, but keeping yourself as such too. On the 16th, we do have Venus in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So you may have to have some very hard conversations that may feel uncomfortable, but ethically correct. And this could be to do with boundaries. It could be behaviors. It could be ways of doing things. It could be finances, but something in the situation linking to Venus, which is marriages, contracts, partnerships. You will gain your self-esteem. Initially, you may find it deeply difficult, especially with the access on the 9th of the third house connecting to Venus in Libra in opposition to Mars in Aries. Belief systems, maybe not wanting to pick a side, feeling awkward about it, really sitting in that frequency after Mercury going direct for a bit. And then you'll get to a point, I feel you'll be looking at it and thinking, this really does need to come to an end. Something needs to move about. And I feel this will be very intuitive. It can be reactional, but you also may find within environments and situations, you're trying to keep balance. It could be you're looking at the way you are presenting yourself and trying to change it to show professionalism as well within the career sector. We're having on the 21st, the Sun enters Sagittarius. Now, this is hitting your 5th house placement. And I do feel this is really preparing you for next month's energy, because we are having an eclipse in Sagittarius, which is the South Node. Now, the South Node is in your 5th house for 2.5 years. The North Node is in your 11th house for 2.5 years. So what tends to happen is we have become comfortable in the energy of Sagittarius being for you, on this occasion, your 5th house. 5th house relates to relationships, romance, children, and luck. It doesn't have to be that you're leaving a connection. Some of you merely did. And, if anything is meant to come back to you, it always will. But there is something inside of those notions that now you are being requested to by universe, and part of this astrological domain of what's changing with all of us collectively, to move towards the north. And the North Node is in Gemini, which can be to do with upskilling. It's Gemini energy. Being local, communicating, media, internet-orientated energies. 11th house is friends, clubs, associates, aspirations, and humanitarian. It can also be technology. And to balance it, it's looking at the bigger group, who's the tribe. And really moving into next month, these themes are going to come up again, because we are having both Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius. So it's sort of preparing us for 2021. Now, Aquarius is going to land in your 7th house placement. So the connections that you are going to bring towards you, the environments, your career sector is all going to be very Aquarian by nature. And that will need to be very conducive. It can, to me, even in astrology, when we look at it, many of us have said, look, it will create a real shift in the collective. Where people are really merging, but it also can cause that kind of segregation where we're very tribe orientated. So really getting to a point you gain that 3rd house, throat chakra energy of self-esteem, being able to communicate effectively, getting your daily routine sorted, and getting everything in order where you want to be. I do think this is going to benefit you from a career standpoint, and it can also benefit you, but looking at balancing those things. You may be, example fact, if you're at home and you have family, trying to get that balance so you can, deal with the work-related dynamic here. Trying to get your hopes and dreams done. Could be purchasing a house and things to that degree. Fifth house placement, as I said, is there for 2.5 years. Now, as Venus enters Scorpio, home-related dynamics are coming up. Looking at security, looking at shadow. And the funny thing is, in a nodal effect, this really amused me. Doing research on North and South Node, I do know the access of shadow signs. So Scorpio, the shadow sign, is actually Taurus. Facing your shadow when it comes to safety over beauty, privacy over ego. It's really the shadow polarity. And by dealing with these home-related dynamics, you are going to be able to get your finances in order. You will be able to create and generate these energies very much through your own doing, with the highlight of your 11th house placement. So trust in yourself with that. I'll also talk separately and channel the messages from your charts and connect them with your romance in a moment. Further in the chart, you get my gist. Okay, Neptune will be going direct on the 29th, and this links to shared resources. This can be contracts coming in, this can be money coming in. You may feel more direct in a way of looking at what you need to keep and what you need to discard. It can be viewpoints, it can be ideals, it can be, it's the house of healthy codependency, but you have been requested throughout this month is to take stock of these situations. Getting things in order, assessing who's with you, who's not, really getting your routine down packed so that you can bring it all together. And I do feel during this month, you are, through your steps that you're taking, going to be able to generate income directly towards you to get your foundation where you want it to be. Then we have the lunar eclipse in Gemini, and this is going to be at 9 degrees. As for channeled messages linking to that, I'll do that more to the end of the video. Let's get into the energy of your chakra report. Strongest energy coming through, very separate to the larger energies that are going to be there for the collective, would be base chakra. And that's due to the fact you have home-related dynamics coming through in your chart. Now, although it is very much Scorpio energy, I really do feel that it's important for you to effectively clear the energy in your home. You can do use smudge sticks, do guided meditation, you can do jinn removals and things to that degree, but also getting to a point you maybe put things away that you don't need so that you can have that sanity when it does come to routines. It can be crazy things in an organization sense that, you can really Google on YouTube and have a look at different ways that you can create quality systems. Sometimes it's directly with the human beings and the people we interact with and what we feel our role is inside of those areas, with us not creating healthy boundaries with ourselves to say yes and no. I'm telling you, I've been through this transit myself. Regardless, so one of the areas can be house clearing. I would definitely say from a financial and a physical point of view, for you to feel grounded, you can do some guided meditation connected to the root chakra. And also because of heavy Capricorn energy until next month, which has been here for a few years now, it's definitely using obstinate and tumbaline to protect you and your home. Now, even next month, we will have the energy of Aquarius, which it still does relate to obstinate and tumbaline in a sense of your home, root chakra, base chakra, balancing it. You can eat the red food groups. Now, generally, when Mars is retrograde, which can link to this area too, eating those very heavy food groups can be quite harsh on us, especially with the full moon in Taurus and, the energy then moving into Scorpio. We can be a little bit more secretive about things, I'll just have a couple of chocky bickies, it turns into 3. It's Venus orientated, and then the element of Scorpio, which is things that are hidden, but more from a psychological point of view over a 3D at times. Now, heart chakra is coming up this month, and that is due to both the nodes being in Gemini and Mercury related energy. So we're going to be having both heart chakra and throat chakra coming up. The higher heart chakra will be coming from Aries and Chiron. So with each chakra, if you Google them, you are able to do guided meditation. You can key point in throat chakra, which is coming from the nodes in Gemini. There's also the Taurus energy of the full moon and Venus and Libra. Plus Virgo can also relate to higher heart chakra. So we've got the conjunction point of the two, both throat and heart. Eating those food groups, guided meditation connected to those areas, and selecting crystals that can really balance you. You know, for the heart chakra, you can use pink quartz. Throat chakra, again, blue topaz. And there's hundreds of gems you can use, but the guided meditation, the food-based frequency, and, balancing those out. Now, you will feel fatigued, and especially with the Scorpio and the Aries elements in astrology at the moment, solar plexus are coming up. So balancing those frequencies, and you will get the best out of the situation to try and handle some of these heavy energies moving through the month. Now, health. You do have health placements all through this month. So any 6th house placement, and especially 2nd house placement, we do need to be aware of what we consume. Now, in the first week, your stress levels and the burdens on your shoulders can be causing issues connecting to that. This is why the importance of looking at your daily routine of your home environment and what you're currently doing in a sense of balancing needs to change. 8th house placement, can't do this forever. How do I get the balance? It can be merely jotting down what you need to do in your week to eliminate some of those tasks with the whole Mars retrograde. So tired, can't get things done. As it goes direct, you still may feel tired due to Aries and Chiron retrograde, but having to persevere forward so it doesn't become extremely messy in nature. You also will find with the 6th house placement, you are really pushing to grow. You're pushing to change things. Emotions can be coming up due to these stresses. I do feel with your 3rd house, you could really be, wanting to express yourself in different ways, but your routine can be really testing you. So, keeping it to the point that you can do a home clearing, that you can have a little bit of time out, away from responsibilities, and really having some privacy to yourself. I also feel there can be beautifications going on. But self-care I'm seeing as an ultimate need right now over the 3D, let's do X, Y, and Z to make us feel beautiful. It's more internal nurturing at the moment. Now, by the 3rd week, again, similar energies are coming through. Subjects to do with the 5th house and changes that you're going to implement around connections. If you have children, your children starting new ventures can be coming up by the 21st. And as Neptune goes direct, you're going to have more clarity about how to balance things. Now, with the Jupiter-orientated energy, we can be inclined to grow. Jupiter relates to growth. Some of these things you may feel all the burdens on you, so it can be stress-related dynamics. So chamomile tea to de-stress, guided meditation, breathing if you have no solution, letting it go, letting Gaia source sort it, and just taking each step forward. Nothing ever stays the same. It is going to change. There are some things, yes, you can. These hopes and dreams are destined, especially with the 11th house placement. So every step you're taking, it is in the right direction. 100% it's showing from this. So try not to second guess yourself. Keep going forward. Have faith in yourself in those areas and look after your health. I feel the statement of work would be an understatement. Now, it can be coming up two ways. One, the need and desire to return to work. The other can be working from home. It can be also very separately too much going on at home. The yin-yang effect, because as I mentioned, this is a number 11 vibration month. Most of the Venus planets are direct. Well, they are. Masculine energies are going direct. There will be one left after the 14th, and that links to Aries and Chiron, the wounded healer. So in a yin-yang effect, which we all as human beings happen, males and females have that. Getting the balance inside of those areas, especially with the heavy Capricorn energy, is sort of coming down to us. So the way we shake things up, I'm trying to give you the tips to handle these situations. There may be circumstances where you need to think outside the box. Some of you, if there were sales of houses and things to that degree, finance directly could be coming back to you by the end of the month. This could be inheritances and things to that degree. Separately, alimony, child support, things like that, those things can be coming through to you by the end of the month. You will be fine as you proceed, but there are some shifts that situations are going to cause. How you directly relate to them is going to be the important thing. I do feel by looking at the axis of Taurus home, looking at those expenses that are coming in, looking at ways of now what you think are luxuries, what are necessities. I also feel with your efforts you're making, you're being very harsh on yourself at the moment. If you are currently working, I do feel there is a lot going on both sides, and balancing it is becoming challenging. As Mars goes direct, I do feel this is going to plateau out, and definitely I see finances coming towards you, and I see more courage. And I do see major decisions occurring this month, especially at the beginning of the month and mid-month. So 8th house with Neptune and Pisces direct, I feel you'll have the clarity of what you want and how to go get it. This can also be a job coming in for those of you unemployed, and a different way you can do it. Home. Okay, home. Well, we have been mentioning this for a while. Home can be testing. I'll be perfectly honest. It's going to be testing, but it's more to do with the external situations. It can be to do with the circumstance inside you where you're fatigued and this is frustrating you. It can also be that you wish to move home. Depending on how it's playing out for each of you, you each have very unique lives. Spiritually speaking, I feel there's such, how do I put it? There's complications in a sense that there appears to be juggling. I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. How do I pull that in? And it's time frame wise. It's like you're trying to pull things in with time frame. Again, it can be very testing at the beginning of the month. When it does come to your emotions inside your connections with your family, there can be trigger points with your viewpoint and conditioning and people's potentially belief systems. It could be their religion, their belief systems, their morals, their ethics. The 9th can be very tense. So just, one could say, hide, hermit mode, which is what most of us do when there's tension, with people that potentially, how would we put it, may not have those tools to deal with the direct communication point of view. So if you find there's energies to that degree in your circle and you feel you're tired and there's other things going on, be gentle on yourself. Know it's going to pass. And this may have been something going on for a very long time, but being able to be grounded enough to deal with that, having food for thought of knowing that day, just either side, 2 days before, 2 days after, just be really cautious, understand, have your light bulb moment, breathe it out, and this too shall pass. I'm also seeing as Mars goes direct, things should ease up to a degree, connecting to family, connecting to home, connecting to your siblings and your mother and your father energies, however it resonates. Things should start calming down. By the time we have the Sun entering Sagittarius, I really feel with home and family, you're going to be more direct. I think you may take them by surprise. You also can be upgrading security systems and things to that degree when it does come to your home, and maybe being more private than usual when it does come to the things that are frustrating you. Leo, you guys have so much going on this month when it does come to love. Aries and Chiron and the energy of such, there can be subjects coming up really with your belief systems. The psychology connecting to home, family, security, yours versus theirs, wounds of the past, inner child wounds coming up, can be slightly, again, inner child wounds, abandonment related dynamics coming up. We are having at the beginning of the month high heart chakra activation. I'm just going to quickly look at your chart. Let me double check. You're really inside of your connections. You potentially may have a viewpoint that you just want everyone to get along. If that's not happening, that can be really quite bothersome. Again, if there is an external energy going on and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, all you can but do is focus on thyself. I do feel a lot of energy is going into your career, of you leveling up, maybe even looking at situations of how people's actions have directly affected the home environment with the 6th and the 4th house placement. And this push-pull energy, and then moving into the 9th, I do feel you are maybe not feeling so great about those factors, looking at it and saying, maybe having a traditional viewpoint, or looking at the differences connected to the way you see something versus other people see it. 2021, I'm telling you, like, this can pan out really great. We are ironing out the creases this month. You're having this upgrade in your life where you require more privacy inside yourself. You're wanting to really tune in and have some privacy to feel at home within your connections, to actually be able to share these things and not feel that it has to be hidden with the Scorpio energy in Venus connecting to your 4th house. There could be some shadow subjects linking in with finances with this situation. This could be on your side of the fence or theirs. 8th house is very much shared resources and accommodation related dynamics. Again, as the month proceeds, I do feel you're going to shift a lot of your attention to the 11th house, because I really feel, although this dynamic and despair of romance is coming up, where you're going is you will be able to have the balance in love, especially in 2021. Right now, these subject matters have to play out for you to see and change situations up. If you're currently in this connection, you guys are attempting to shake things up, change things about. You may be, renovating your home. There could be conversations also linking to where you want to live, and this could be at a distance. Differing views and belief systems, as I mentioned. As it moves forward, I do feel you may come through like a bat out of hell and really want to move forward. You also may feel that you know what you feel a situation is. While the Scorpio energy is there still can be, even as Mercury goes direct and we have the new moon in Scorpio, that there still potentially could be something slightly hidden. And again, this can all be your thought processes of how, you can't quite put your finger on it, why you're feeling a particular way. It could be due to the fact there could be pressure to hurry up. Taking time to sit and internalize and meditate upon it is going to benefit. Tuning in and calming down situations at home, and it doesn't have to be that there's fights at home. It can just be your routine, getting late to work, get the washing, get the kids, and for males, get ready, go to work, go to soccer train, however it be. And I'm not trying to be flat with sexes here. It's just open to the point of basics as an example point. I do feel, again, by the end of the month, you're going to feel more in alignment. You may have some quiet time to communicate, to effectively express how you feel. Although you're keeping busy, I still feel you're thinking on subject matters as to how this is going to balance out. Now, I really do feel, although I've mentioned what I've mentioned with the Jupiter energy, I am seeing there is growth within these situations. If you're not in communication with this person, I do feel by meditating and moving and keeping occupied, I do feel this person's energy coming in towards you. You're needing to free your time up. You're needing to get all these hopes and dreams, career, finances in order. For those of you that are single, I just feel you're needing to free that space up and get into that orientation, because there is a transformation coming. Now, when we have Venus entering Scorpio, I do feel the sacral chakra, solar plex energy, and I'm definitely seeing with the sun entering Sagittarius, be careful because there could be babies. Okay, Leo, in the area of your dreams, I do feel many of you may be looking at career access, health, beauty, where you're going in life, your foundation, your stability. All of these areas are attainable. Every step you're physically taking this month is taking you to that next destination. This is a month where with the Jupiter aspects, you can actually get movement in those areas. So any steps linking to your 6th house placement, your employment, your health is going to be a step in the right direction, and it is going to work. Also, when it does come to your home, you will find that things will balance. When it comes to your love, you will find that balance, especially moving into 2021. You guys have got romance written all over your 7th house placement. So please, for those of you that are single, don't think you're going to be alone forever. If you have been waiting for that love interest to come back, Mercury going direct will assist that. And if you have been having contention and you're really deciding what to do and what the health is within the connections and what's been hidden from you, I do feel you'll have the clarity to deal with that. As I mentioned, dream states can be very nightmarish at the moment due to Mars and Neptune retrograde. So clear your home. Tune into what these dreams are. Some of these dreams can have very cryptic messages. Again, if you do want me to interpret your dream, feel free to book a reading and I can look at your astrology and discuss it with you and help you see the psyche behind the dreams. I do dream interpretation. And when it does come to your finances, I really do see this changing. So if there has been instability, you can use Tumbaline for the home. You can use a house clearing energy, Jinn removal to remove the energy. And anytime anyone new comes into the home, if you feel the vibes off, always clearing it, opening the windows, clearing the energy. I do feel even getting the routine down at home is going to help you move towards these hopes and dreams. Now, as I mentioned, the North Node is Gemini, and here we are, our very first eclipse in this zodiac sign. At this point, anyway, let's put it that way. Now, we need to look back 6 months. Also, around May, we had the new moon in Gemini at 2 degrees on the 22nd. That's 222. Talk about getting into duality. Again, now where we are trying to move that situation forward. Now, it will link to your 11th house placement, which is absolutely beautiful. It will be a full moon. Tie up the loose ends and get anything you need to get done. Now, if you're implementing a plan, if you're connecting in with different things, and there's a hope and dream in this area, 11th house can be your goals and ambitions. It can be your friends, your clubs, your hopes, your aspirations, and the things you're doing to help the people around you. But whatever those things are, really paying attention to that, tying up the loose ends. If you're trying to generate a home-based business, 4th house placement, again, tying up those loose ends, getting it done. By the time you hit the full moon in Gemini, which will be an eclipse, those steps you've taken, you're going to have growth and movement. Take stock of where you are, take stock of what you were doing back 6 months ago, and watch and see the transformation. They are there. The aspect wise are going to be there for 2.5 years. And also pay attention to your 9th house placement, because this is the area that can really prevent you from moving forward and holding you back. So balance both the 11th and the 5th house. Both of those areas are going to have changes. There will require to be changes inside of your romantic partnerships. They're also in the way you receive romance and allow that to come. If you've had pretty stagnant romance, 5th house placement with Sagittarius is going to transform. So you inside of that situation, due to your social circle, will feel more inclined to receive instead of give. Okay? And it's back and forward. It goes both ways. But the vibration can be wounds to do with conditioning, your belief systems. If you felt, gosh, is this connection ever going to go to the next level? If it's in alignment and it's meant to be, it always will. With the 8th house placement, it can be, if something is affecting your health, having to physically look at that. If something is not great and it's not boding well, 6th house placement can talk about hidden enemies. That can be us with our perspective and belief systems inside of the 9th house, or it can be a direct situation. You do have the axis of the 4th and the 6th house, which is home, health, work, doing too much, maybe not having enough time, trying to balance those things. And maybe that's the role you've taken. And with Aquarius, you need to really have in your Venus house, because Venus is in Aquarius for you, you need to have a person that's very personable, social, that will let you be that butterfly, that will let you be that person that goes towards their hopes and dreams and romanticizes you as well, however that be male or female. So whatever this is, however it's jigging, it's going to be you ultimately that makes the decision. Sometimes things can happen very much outside of us if it's not divinely guided, and it will push things in a certain way. But be very careful for conceiving if you, aren't wanting to go that way, especially because during Mars retrograde, it can actually have adverse reactions with intimacy during that time if you are not in a connection and there's ins and outs. And really having to then seek medical advice to look at that and to make sure you're fine. But that doesn't mean to say that's happened. It's more, it's like a Venus retrograde. It's like, let's not go there. Okay, we're really undecided. What do we do? And most people can be really uninterested in intimacy during Mars retrograde. Not all, but it can affect you in that way where you feel there's something wrong with you and I'm okay. It's the fatigue energy, so to speak, and it's really navigating that energy onto the things that are really requiring it. It's a bit like saying, look, I need to wash my hair. So however that's playing out for you, feel free to actually write it in the box. I always read all your things that you say. I love to hear feedback. Please have a wonderful month. Trust in yourself and know that the best is yet to come. I'll see you on YouTube for the psychic videos for your romance. Feel free to jump on and ask a super chat question at the end, and I always interact with you guys, and I'll give you my psychic channel messages for romance, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of deep, juicy things.